Okay, now, we're ready this time? Okay, we're going to try this again. Isn't this
for real?
Great. I love it. I love technical difficulties because it just shows us what we need to do when things happen or we need to have a backup. Okay, one of the first things I want to share with you today is that Audacity is an audio editing program. Once you create your audio, you can create it as an MP3 file or export it from Audacity as an MP3 file, which can then be converted to an MP4 file to create a podcast with. And that's another class, but I just wanted to make you aware that once you create your audio file and save it as an MP3 file, then you can use it to upload in Blackboard as a podcast. Okay, next, I wanted to share, let me get my little, what Audacity looks like. Audacity is a free multi-track audio editor and recorder for Windows or Mac environment. And right here you can see that I have the website to download Audacity because you do need to download it to your computer. And once you download it and open it, this is what it looks like. Some of the things you can do with Audacity is you can record live audio, you can create or edit existing MP3 files, and that's what we're going to do today. Our focus is going to be on going out to the Literature to Go website, and we're going to bring in an MP3 file that you may want to edit with your students, because your students you may only want them to read certain passages and read it along with somebody that's already recorded the file. It can be used to increase fluency. It can be used for them to focus on reading comprehension, etc. Okay, the website again is here. I'll have documents for you with all of this information in the handout section, as well as after the live meeting. I'll be sending you a document that you can just click on the link, and if you don't have Audacity already, you'll be able to download it, and I have screenshots of what it will look like once you get there, because the website is very busy. And if you're not familiar with it, or if you're not used to going to websites and download software, a lot of times it can be hard to find the link exactly that you need to download your software. But this is what it'll look like, and it'll say Windows 1.26. And if you have a Mac, then that's the version that you want to download. Okay, preliminary setup for Audacity. Whenever you begin to use the program, you want to open it and sort of get a feel for it. But before you do that, you want to look at that you need to get your lame encoder, because without the lame encoder, you will not be able to save your file and export it as an MP3. I'm going to demonstrate how you do that today, so don't panic. As well, I have a tutorial for you with screenshots that shows you how to do the exact same thing that I'm sharing with you. But you do, after you download the software, you have to go to the Audacity website right here to get the lame encoder and download that as well. And the first time that you create a file or edit a file and you want to export that file back out as an MP3, your machine will ask you to point to the lame encoder. Now, the lame encoder, normally you will want to save that in your program files on your hard drive, on your computer. So when it asks you to go find it, then you will go to your program files and double-click on it. And again, I'm going to show you that before we end today. So don't panic, and you will have screenshots on how to do that as well. Again, preliminary setup, you want to be prepared before you open the program and get started and start trying to do things with it. Another preliminary setup is you want to be sure that you have a headset with a microphone, or you need to be able to determine if your computer has an internal microphone. And I'll share that with you as well once I open Audacity. I'll point those things out to you to share with you. Do you have an external microphone? If you don't, you'll want a headset with a microphone so that you can plug it in, and then your computer will pick up whatever you're recording externally with your voice. One of the first things you want to do, too, is you want to look up and save your MP3 files ahead of time. So, say, for instance, you wanted to go to the Literature to Go website, and you wanted to get a file that you wanted to use with your students, again, this is pre-planning, and I can't tell you how much smoother it will work if you go ahead and do the pre-planning ahead of time. Once you get in the program and you check your microphone and you look at the interface and determine if everything is ready for you to get started, if you've planned ahead and have your files ready that you're going to edit, it will save you so much time for you and your students. But this is the Literature to Go website. I'm going to go there in a little bit. But for the first thing I want to do right now is I want to open Audacity, and I'm going to share with you how to do that. So I'm going to get out of here. Okay, and you can see my desktop. Okay, and I have lots of files on my desktop, but I'm going to go to my Start button, and I'm going to open up Audacity. And this is what comes up when you open. As you can see, here's a screen, again, of what you will see when you open Audacity. And if you'll notice right here, it says internal mic. So that's where you can determine if you have an internal mic in your computer. What you'll need to do is click on that, and then you'll need to try it out. You'll need to click record and determine if it shows anything on your computer. And you'll see squiggly lines, I'll show you here shortly, when you start speaking into the program. Just like a tape recording, you start recording. The only thing with this digital recorder is you'll be able to see the wavelengths or the sound lengths as if you've recorded anything. So that's where you check that. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is have your file downloaded. So how I'm going to import my file is go to File, and I'm going to import. I already have my audio file saved on my desktop, so now I'm going to go over and look for the file that I want to import, and I'm going to do, I think it's Beauty is the one that I've been practicing with. And as you'll notice again, you can see all of these little squiggly lines. That lets me know that there's talking or recording or sound or whatever there. And one of the things that I like to do is that I didn't realize is you could pull this out. As I was playing with it this week, you can pull this out further so you can see it clearer, and that makes it good for you and your students. But I want to play this first, and how you play it is you just click on the play button.
Behind the somber screen of yonder pines, with slumber and soft dreams of love oppressed. Oh, my beloved, my sweet Heather.
And I hope you can hear that. Let's see here. Let me try again here. I think I cut something off here. There it is.
With slumber and soft dreams of love oppressed.
Okay, now.
Oh, my beloved, my sweet Heather.
I don't want to play that whole thing, and if you notice, I hit the stop button. This is the pause button. This is skip to the front, skip to the end, and this is the record button. So as you can see, I have this here on the screen. Well, another thing you can do is I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to now determine how I want to edit something off of the screen. So how I would do that is I would listen to the track. I would also have the PDF document of the Literature to Go website, of the file from the Literature to Go website, and I would look and see what it was I wanted to edit. The way you edit your screen is I'm going to skip back to the start, and I'm just going to cut out a part in the middle. I'm just going to guess out a part, but one of the things you can do is as you're listening,
The evening star.
you see down here at the bottom, the audio position is telling you how many seconds that the track is running. So what you have to do is you have to watch as you're reading your document where you want to stop it and start editing. One thing I can tell you is anytime there's a straight line, that's usually a pause. That's when no one is speaking. So if I wanted to cut out a part, I'm going to go back to the top and see right in here, this little part right here. I can tell that that's a part where no one is talking. So I'm going to click right there, and I'm going to highlight just that little bit, and all you have to do is hit delete. And then I can skip to the front again.
The Evening Star by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
And as you'll notice, that portion has left.
Whose pains the sunken sun incarnadine.
Now I'm going to stop it. If I wanted to take off the end part, I would go over to the end. I would highlight the part that I don't want there and hit delete. You can also hit the scissors. That means to cut, just like in a Windows program. And these two right here mean copy and paste. So if you wanted to use those to do the same thing that I'm already doing, you could do that as well. But that's how you cut portions out of your file. You just go there, highlight a section that you want, but the key is to watching the numbers down there to determine what area you want to cut and how many seconds, because editing is really, it's a skill. You have to practice and practice and practice with it. If you talk with any of the ITV guys, they can tell you it's a skill. You have to practice with it. But we really don't want to do a whole lot of that. You may only want to cut just a certain little portion out of your audio and then use it with your students. Now, I'm going to go over some of these buttons at the top. Up here at the top, this one right here, the selection tool. This tool, that's what you do when you select a portion. This tool right here, if you wanted to make your track, if you wanted it to be fade in or fade out, you make points, and then that way you can make your music lower or softer, however you want it. But the way you would do that is, you see how I made those little things right there? That means that the track would start out very low, and then it would be very loud. So let's look at this real quick and see what it does.
The Evening Star by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Low in the painted oriel of the west, whose panes the sunken sun incarnadine, like a fair lady at her casement shines. The evening
And if you notice how it got louder. So if you wanted to lower the volume on your audio track, say for instance you have music behind the background, that's how you would do that. If you're reading and you have music, this is what you would do to make your voice smaller or your music smaller as you're reading. And then this tells me that it's going to be louder at these points. Okay? That's that tool. This just makes your, this is a zoom tool. You can zoom in and you can really see your track a little bit more as far as the editing. I like this feature of blowing it up so I can really see the points in here and look down here, mark down what points from point to point that I want to edit out. That's the easiest way for me to get more better on, is to blow this up, and you know between that 16, 16 and a half, 17. I mean, really just thinking about what the kids have to do, it really requires a lot of attention, focus, and detail to what they're doing. All right, and this is the time shift tool. If you wanted to, say, for instance, move your track, and you had another track that we imported that starts at the beginning, and you didn't want this track, if you had a music track that starts, and you wanted your track to start after that, you could have a music track imported. You use your time shift tool to move your second track, and that means your music's going to start first, and then your recording is going to start after that. So that's what you do with the time shift tool, and you notice you can shift that from anywhere. I like that because that means you can put more than one track, and you can tell different tracks when to enter and when to start. Now, how do we save this after we have gotten the track just like we wanted it? How do we save this? You're going to go up here to File, and you're going to export the file. And if you notice, it's going to ask you, how do you want it saved? I want to save it as an MP3 file because that's universal. And then I want to go to Save. Then it's going to ask me all this information. Well, they already know the information because I downloaded this track from someone that had already pre-recorded it and had filled in all the information of who the author was, what the album, the book was about, you know, where it was recorded and all of that. So it filled it in for me, but you'll want to fill that in so you can keep track of what this is and a title. So now I want to okay it, and now it's exporting the file for me. Okay? So that's how you save and export the file. If you wanted to save this file before you exported it as an MP3 file, you would just go up here and you would save the project as, and it says you are saving it as an Audacity file. Sometimes you want to save it as an Audacity file because that means you can go back and edit some more or redo anything that you want to change in that file over and over again, and you can export it over and over again as a different MP3 file. You just name it something different or you save over the one that you have. But if you'll notice here, it's telling you that. So I'm going to do OK. I'm going to put it on my desktop, and it's showing you there. And all it does is just saves the file automatically. Now I have two files. I have a file saved as Audacity file. I have a file that I edited and I saved that I may want to share with my students. So again, you need two of them in case you want to go back and work with it again. Now I want to close out of Audacity, and I want to find the file that I saved, the MP3 file right here. I think that's it.
The Evening Star by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Now there's the file that I saved that we edited. And as you can see, it's an MP3 file. Now what could you do with this file? You could go to the Smart Notebook file, and you notice I have some text here that I have cut out of the PDF document. I'm going to go to the website before we close and show you the Literature to Go website and how to download and save a file. But I copied just a little bit of the text of the reading. Now, I want to save the file that I have, so I'm going to go look for the file that I have. I want to make it an object.
The Evening Star by
Now,
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
now this is different, but still the file is linked there. And it would be reading along with what we have.
Like a fair lady.
Okay. Okay, so that's how you would link it. Even though it's not the same file, that's how you would link your file. And your students, you could put your screen shade on, and with that file reading along, you could read along with your students, or if you wanted them to focus on reading comprehension or whatever they're focusing on, they could do it as a center because they could click directly on the link and read along with it for fluency. Okay, now, we're going to go to the Literature to Go website, so I'm going to Internet Explorer. And I have, I think I have that saved in my, anyway, I'm going to go here, FCIT website. Alrighty. Okay. Yes. Okay. Alright, and it's taken a while, but once you get to the, let's see here. Alright, let's see here. The website looks a little bit different. So let's go back. Let's see, maybe I have it here. Let's see. FCIT Lit to Go. Okay, there it is. Okay. As you can see, they're changing their website on us. This was a little bit different yesterday. Was a little bit different. looked at a little bit different from me, for me. Let me click on that and see. Oh, here it is. Okay, as you can see here, this is the Literature to Go website. It tells you it's a collection of MP3 of online collection of stories, and you can browse by author or title. I like title, and I'm just going to choose one. And then, as you can see, it gives you everything you need to know. I wasn't outside the reading level, English, the Sunshine State Standards. Here, you can view this as a web page, or you can download the PDF. That's where I went and highlighted the text that I had and that I cut and put into the Smart Notebook page. But right here, you want to click on that. Step for you want to go back and right-click on it and save target as. And notice here it's going to say MP3. I always name it whatever the name of the story is because you're not going to remember the number. And it is going to save it as a document. So save. And then when you get ready to go look for it, I remember that it's a number. And when I go into Audacity, then I go and find that file. And there is that number right there. And that's how you do it. So you go to the Literature to Go website. I'm going to send you the links. You browse, you look for what you want, you save it, then you import it into Audacity once you have downloaded it on your desktop and have downloaded your lame encoder, because it will ask you for it the first time that you save a file as an MP3 file. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to share with you as far as the basics, because once you start working with it, you'll get the basics down, and after you get the basics down, then we can move on to adding audio or muting the audio on that track that you brought in and putting your own audio for the students. But I think the main thing right now is just learning how to use the basics of the program to cut out information that you want. And if you want to even record and add some information to it, you can do that. So I think we're going to leave you with that today. If you have any questions, be sure to send them in to us. I think Marsha's answering questions. There was one that says, once it is an MP3, can it be edited again? Yes, it can. As long as it's an MP3 and you send it out, you can bring that back into Audacity again and again and again and edit it again and again and again. So there's no limit to how many times you can bring that same file that you've created in MP3 back into Audacity and cut more out or add more in. So yes, you can edit it over and over and over again. I think that's it. If you have any questions, be sure to ask us. I will be sending the Audacity tutorial. I'll be sending the Literature to Go website to you, and with screenshots of how you download the lame encoder and how you point to it again as well. I'm so glad that you all joined us today. I hope you got some information out of this on how to do some basic editing and where to find some of the audio tracks that are already pre-made for you. So until next time, unless you have any questions, we're going to hang around here for a little while. And if you have some questions, feel free to type them in, and we'll be happy to assist you with them. Once again, thanks for being with us today. I truly enjoyed it.
Perfect. I don't see anybody asking questions.
You know.
Although you could unmute them and they could just ask their question.
Yeah. Okay, now.
Polly, here we got a Polly question. Oh, thanks so much. I'm going to try this before it leaves my mind.
Okay.
Okay, we got another one.
Okay.
Thank you. Can we look into doing I carried Hokey? I remember doing it this summer, but I can't remember how.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get Russ to
Do it.
that.
Yeah. Okay, so there was 9 people. Jeff Fry. Oh, that's great. That was great. Did we record this? I don't think we did. We did.
I mean, record now. I don't think
We can record it.
Oh, yes, she recorded it.
Okay.
And she said, we got a note that the glare from the light was too much, so I turned it off. But then Kitty said no.
Okay.
So I turned it back on.
Okay.
But they were saying there was a big glare on the board from the light.
Right.
So we need to think about that, I guess.
Okay.
You know what? The other thing, too,
Mhm.
I tried to write down some stuff that happened,
Mhm.
and we might want to do a checklist